So as some of you guys probably know by now, we have been getting a ton of reports that have to do with potential clubs meeting with West Coast Eagles players. Again, we most recently heard that Sam Mitchell actually met with Oscar Allen, and that there's been a ton of different rumors that the Hawks are not only really interested in him, but are really interested in Harley Reid. Again, whether or not any of this is true and whether or not Harley Reid does end up going to a different team next year, again, I still think he will probably stay. I don't think it dramatically changes from the fact that I genuinely believe the West Coast Eagles have a chance to dominate the 2025 AFL draft, very similar to how the Richmond Football Club did in 2024. For those of you who didn't know, basically everyone and their dad decided to request a trade and leave the Tigers in 2024, and although this would seem like normally a bad thing, it actually ended up really benefiting the Tigers, where they were able to move on all of these players who were basically checked out and didn't want to be there anymore, and they were able to move them on for insanely good draft picks that ended up leading to some really good players that we are currently seeing develop and play for the Richmond Football Club right now. Again, West Coast over the last couple years have actually been criticised for the lack of young, core that they have brought in. Again, a lot of experts in the media and in the commentary have criticised the Eagles over the last 4 or 5 years for holding on to veteran players and, potential star players who want to move for way too long. And again, I think it's very much something that West Coast have possibly been guilty of, but it's really undeniable that they have completely changed their tone over the last year or so, with them being more, happy to, of course, let Tom Barrass go. They brought in a bunch of picks for him. They, of course, I think it was rumors that they were letting Liam Ryan speak to other clubs at one stage, a couple other players here and there. But at the end of the day, they were still criticised for moving on from their pick 3 that they, of course, had last year in a package deal, which pretty much got them Liam Baker, of course, Matt Owies, and I think it was pick 12 at the time, which they ended up using on Bo Allen. Again, I still argue that was a good trade, but that was definitely criticised highly in the media for them not taking a top pick and actually moving it on for other more experienced players and a lower pick. Again, in saying all that though, as I've mentioned, West Coast have changed their tune, and it does kind of look like right now the current West Coast Eagles captain may actually have a desire to potentially move, with, as I said, him meeting with Sam Mitchell reportedly over in Perth during the Hawthorns bye week. And again, a lot of rumors are saying that they are the favourite to get him. And if they do get him, the Eagles will actually land a massive pick back, which is really interesting because I already believe they have they've got a pretty stacked draft as it already is. Again, as it stands, it's still nowhere near what Richmond had last year, but trying to get what Richmond had last year will probably be impossible and will most likely never see it again. But West Coast for sure, I think, are going to try this year, with them already having pick 1 at the time of making this video, their own pick. Pick number 18 from Hawthorn, pick 19, of course, their own pick, and pick 36 from Hawthorn as well. They have 4 picks in the top 36 and, of course, 3 picks in the top 20, which is usually pretty rare and doesn't always happen. Again, there is a lot of ways that they can, of course, build on this that I think will give them a really nice draft. Again, I think the first one is Oscar Allen, of course, leaving. Now, does it benefit Oscar Allen to leave the West Coast Eagles? Again, he is their captain, and when he's on, he's arguably their best player. But the issue is that he's been injured over the last couple of years, and from what we've seen so far this year, he doesn't look like he is all there. He doesn't look like he's absolutely giving it his all for West Coast right now. And if your captain is meeting with another coach from a different team this early on in the season, there is 100% something going on there. And I think with just the way he is playing, we got to keep in mind, if West Coast were, to let him leave right now, they would be given a band 1 compensation pick in return, which would mean they would get a first round pick next to the pick that they, of course, currently have right now. So because they've got pick 1, they would essentially get pick number 2, which, when you think about it, is crazy. If those reports are true that they would be getting a band 1 with the Hawthorn contract offer that it looks like will be on the table there, they will be getting a pick next to their first overall pick, which is pick 2. And again, with the way Oscar Allen is playing right now, his leadership that he may provide is not enough, in my opinion, to warrant the Eagles being like, no, we can't get pick 2 here. Again, Oscar Allen he should be in his prime right now. He is at that age where he should be in his prime. And I think with how the Eagles are still rebuilding and really haven't had many high picks. Again, they've had Ruben Ginby at like pick 7, Harley Reid at 1 and Allen at 12 and a couple before that, which weren't really that high. I think it's now time to finally go and hit the draft and actually select some high picks, which it genuinely looks like they're doing. And if you have pick 1, 2, 18, and 19, that is a massive haul right there. And that's not even to talk about Harley Reid. Again, I've said it 100 times on this channel. I genuinely do think Harley Reid, I just think he should and probably will stay at the Eagles. But the last couple of weeks with how he's been playing and them even playing him off the half back now, and again, rumors that he also met with Sam Mitchell, it really is starting to seem more and more unlikely, I should say, that he stays. But again, I just don't see why he would want to leave. I just think this is a really rough patch for him right now, and there could be something more going on behind the scenes. But let's just say he did want to leave, right? I'm gonna knock Hawthorn out here, because I don't care if Harley Reid requests the trade to Hawthorn. I don't see how they can get this trade done. How do they have the capital? How are they going to have the salary cap, especially if they get Oscar Allen as well? The draft capital should just be insanely impossible. I think there's only 1 or 2 teams that can do this, and that does happen to be Richmond and Essendon. I feel like if one of those 2 teams does it, it probably will be Essendon, especially with the lack of, I think, real high star power that they've been able to attract to the club, as well as them actually having a really good young core and foundation that for them is hopefully starting to build. I think they will offer the Eagles a pretty interesting package for Harley Reid. Now, at the time of making this video, the Essendon Football Club actually have pick 2 and 6. And the reason they actually have pick 2 is because they were able to trade for the Melbourne Demons first round pick last year. And again, they're having a horrific season so far at the time making this video. Again, this video might come out after this week, and if they get a win, it will probably go up a little bit. But as I just said, at the time making this video, they do have pick 2 and 6. And I think if Harley Reid was to request a trade to Essendon, if he got a ton of money, and the rumors are true that they are one of the biggest teams interested in him and probably are the favourites right now, I think there's a very big chance that the West Coast Eagles probably accept pick 2 and 6 for Harley Reid. Again, we got to remember, that's a massive haul. And when you realistically think about it, if they let Oscar Allen and Harley Reid go, they would have picks 1, 2, 3, 6, 18, 19, and 36. Again, what is that? That's 6 first round picks in the top 19, 4 of them being in the top 6. Again, you can't decline that. You cannot deny that. That would be bigger and better than what Richmond were able to build. Again, I know it sounds like we're playing some NBA 2K type of my leg stuff right now, but this is the reality that we are currently sitting in, with Oscar Allen meeting with a bunch of clubs and reportedly looking like he wants to leave, and Harley Reid throwing absolute temper tantrums on the field, and again, having reporters say they've heard that he's checked out and wants to go. Again, you will get 2 and 6 out of Harley Reid because he's a pick 1 and a generational talent. The thing is, if you added all that, again, you would have 1 because of your own pick, 2 for Harley or 2 for Oscar Allen, really, which would bump down the 2 to 3 for Harley Reid. Pick 6 for Harley Reid as well. You could have a generational draft where you basically get all the best players from this whole entire pool to add to your team and kind of try and recreate what Richmond did last year, which is already looking like it has been amazing. Again, if I made this video a year ago, you guys would all probably call me mentally challenged and say, this is the biggest bullcrap we have ever heard. But with what Richmond did, I think that has completely changed a ton of people's minds on teams, trying to draft a bunch of guys. And it's completely changed every team's mind on just trading for bulk picks in a draft. Again, that is the reality we currently sit in. And they could have a chance to, go and draft Dyson Sharp at pick 1, Willem Dersma at pick 3, go get their Ruckman and Cooper Duff Titler at pick 2 or whatever, right? At pick 6, there'll potentially be an Alex or a Freddie Rodriguez there, who's from WA and arguably the best mid in the class. Again, there is talent everywhere that the Eagles could try and go and get if they, of course, did this. And again, what would be a very nice bonus of this is you would have all of these young players come into the team at the exact same time, very similar to what Richmond have done. So this is something to think about, and this is the legit reality that we are currently living in right now. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all those AFL content and news. Don't forget to comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you guys think the West Coast Eagles could be trying to dominate the 2025 AFL draft as we speak? Again, I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my gaming channel, which will be also getting linked in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.